Get ready for the action, because Mercedes' podium streak just ended in Miami as McLaren delivered a massive 1-2 punch. Lando Norris of Britain and Oscar Piastri of Australia battled it out in a thrilling sprint auto race, showing serious momentum against the reigning champions. We break down exactly how this incredible performance shifted the landscape of Formula One right here in the Sunshine State.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALEN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we dive into the subtle but significant changes Lando Norris is hinting at after his dominant sprint victory. Norris admitted that despite the strong form, there are specific elements of his car he is eager to adjust before the next big race. Find out what Norris is looking to tweak and why these adjustments are crucial for McLaren's future success. We look at the full picture. Lando Norris topped the Miami sprint with his upgraded McLaren as Mercedes tumbled off the podium. This race saw Norris and Piastri take the win, while Charles Leclerc of Ferrari secured third, showing the power of those team upgrades. We examine the intense battle between the teams and the unexpected movements that shook up the entire grid. And finally, we look at the full race breakdown from the F1 Miami GP, where Lando Norris dominated the sprint race, showcasing a clear step forward for McLaren. From the intense midfield battles involving Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas to the final podium positions, we cover every dramatic overtake and every strategic move. Don't miss out on the full story. Tune in right now for all the latest racing news. Mercedes' podium streak was abruptly halted in Miami as McLaren delivered a dominant 1-2 finish in the sprint race of the Formula One Grand Prix on Saturday, May 2, 2026. Lando Norris of Britain and Oscar Piastri of Australia secured the victory for McLaren. The result knocked Mercedes off the podium for the first time this season. Norris, who won from pole position, reflected on the event, stating, "It was a good race. Nice to be back on the top stair even if it was a sprint. It was hot out there. It was sweaty. I was trying to find that balance of pushing but also staying relaxed and not making mistakes." Piastri also crossed the finish line in the race. This performance signals a significant shift in the competitive landscape. McLaren utilized a 5-week break, necessitated by race cancellations in the Middle East due to the conflict in Iran, to implement crucial car upgrades. These changes have clearly narrowed the gap on the reigning world champion team, Mercedes, which had dominated the season thus far. Leading into the Miami Grand Prix, Mercedes had established a clean sweep, with George Russell and Kimi Antonelli winning the first 3 Grand Prix races and the sprint race in China. Russell secured a victory in Australia, while Antonelli took the lead in the World Championship driver standings after winning in China and Japan, also claiming the sprint race victory in China. However, the Mercedes duo was unable to secure a podium in Miami. Russell finished 4th, and Antonelli was 6th, following a 5-second penalty for track limits that dropped him behind Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen finished 5th for Red Bull, with Lewis Hamilton of Ferrari in 7th place, following an early race incident where Hamilton was instructed to yield position to Verstappen. Charles Leclerc was 3rd for Ferrari during the 19-lap preview of Sunday's main race at the Miami International Autodrome. Meanwhile, the Cadillac team, making its debut event in the United States, finished at the back of the field, with Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas finishing 16th and 18th in the 22-driver field. Lando Norris, the reigning F1 champion, secured his 2nd consecutive sprint race win at Miami. Neu Dung Kai Tight. Lando Norris has signaled intentions to make modifications to the McLaren car following a dominant sprint victory at the Miami International Autodrome. Norris acknowledged that despite his strong performance, there are specific elements of the car he is keen to adjust ahead of the Grand Prix qualifying session. The sprint race saw Norris secure an unchallenged victory, capitalizing on his pole position from the previous day. While the cars were initially under parc fermé conditions during qualifying, teams are now permitted to implement necessary changes before the main qualifying session. Speaking about the car's setup, Norris stated, "It's worked so far. We'll probably change a couple of things. There are a couple of things I want different from yesterday that will adjust." He expressed optimism for future development, adding, "So hopefully we have a little bit more to come, but I'm sure the others will too. We'll just keep our heads down and keep pushing." Reflecting on the event, Norris described the sprint as a positive experience, noting, "It was a good race. It's nice to be back on the top step, even if it's a sprint." He credited the team's upgrades for the weekend's success, stating, "It's been a good day for us. A massive job for the team in bringing the upgrades. I know everyone is saying the same thing, but ours have really helped this weekend." Norris also touched upon the demanding conditions, mentioning the heat and sweat, and emphasized his focus on maintaining a careful balance between pushing the limits and avoiding errors. He concluded by looking ahead. "So, a good start to the weekend, but now we have to do all over again." The focus now shifts to the team implementing the planned adjustments for the upcoming Grand Prix. Lando Norris secured a second consecutive sprint victory at the Miami International Autodrome, leveraging upgraded McLaren technology as Mercedes drivers failed to reach the podium. The event marked Norris' first career Grand Prix win in 2024, continuing a winning streak for the driver that has spanned every race weekend since. Norris shared the podium with teammate Oscar Piastri and Ferrari's Charles Leclerc. The Mercedes team faced significant challenges on Saturday afternoon, with both drivers missing the podium due to a poor start from the front row for Kimi Antonelli and a general lack of race pace. Antonelli immediately dropped to fourth position, engaging in a battle with teammate George Russell, which negated his strong qualifying performance. Norris managed to establish a safe lead, benefiting from the performance of the team's upgrades. Leclerc, despite finishing third, expressed satisfaction with the upgrades, but admitted dissatisfaction with the final result, noting that McLaren also delivered significant upgrades. Antonelli's race performance was marred by a 5-second penalty for track limits in turn 11, ultimately dropping his finish position to 6th, despite being 4 seconds ahead of his teammate at the time of the infraction. George Russell moved up to 4th place. Max Verstappen ultimately finished 6th in the race, securing a second spot by overtaking Hamilton on lap 8 after an initial instruction to yield. Verstappen finished a 10th of a second ahead of Antonelli. Pierre Gasly was the last driver to score points, finishing ahead of Isaac Hadjar. Victoria Beaver, a nomadic sports writer known for covering diverse motorsports events, is noted for her unconventional approach to her work, using a 2010 Subaru and building a 42-foot schoolie for full-time travel. Lando Norris secured a dominant victory in the Formula One Miami Grand Prix sprint race, cementing McLaren's performance resurgence. The race offered a significant test for the new power units under extreme conditions, with temperatures exceeding 30 degrees Celsius challenging the performance of the Honda engines. The sprint race saw early setbacks, including Arvid Lindblad being relegated to the pit lane for a technical infringement, and Nico Hülkenberg suffering an engine failure en route to the grid. Ferrari made their expected strong start, but Lando Norris established an early lead over Oscar Piastri, who was subsequently pulled into the midfield train behind Charles Leclerc. As the race progressed, the McLarens pulled away, with Leclerc holding off Piastri in 4th position, while Hamilton managed to gain ground. The Mercedes drivers, Antonelli and Russell, were in contention, though their overtakes were limited. A key moment involved George Russell executing a successful move on his teammate on lap 8, followed by a strategic maneuver from Verstappen, who ultimately managed to regain position on the subsequent lap. In the midfield, Sergio Perez made an impact by overtaking Liam Lawson and challenging for a spot with Sainz. The battle for the lead between Piastri and Leclerc intensified, with Leclerc slowly closing the gap on Piastri, but remaining just out of reach. Late in the race, the gap between Piastri and Leclerc widened, but the final moments saw Norris take a commanding victory over Piastri. The final podium saw Lando Norris win, followed by Charles Leclerc in 3rd place. The remaining top finishers included Antonelli and Russell in 4th and 5th, Verstappen 6th, Hamilton 7th, Gasly 8th, Alex Albon 9th, and Franco Colapinto in 10th.